I am a certified Scrum Master. I have been looking for a job for a very long time, but it seems I'm not having any luck having a job. I don't know what I'm missing. Now, what I want to talk about today is after your certification, what are the next steps you need to take in order to align yourself to find a job? Welcome to our series on how to land a Scrum job. And this is series number 3. On series number 1, which I'm going to put a link under this video, series number 1 and series number 2. Series number 1, I focus on how to think, be able to visualize exactly what you want. On series number 2, I focus on understanding the foundation of Scrum, which is the 4 Agile Manifesto value and the 12 principles. And then series number 3, now you're certified. What exactly do you need to do next? And in this series, I want to talk about resume. That's the first thing I'm going to talk about. Secondly, I'm going to talk about focusing on tell me about yourself. And then thirdly, I'm going to focus on what is the next thing you should do, mainly focus on how to master the different Scrum event. So welcome to the Scrum chat room with Dr. Francis Ibunya. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and happy Monday to everyone. It's a week for you to win, but remember, you can definitely not win if you don't understand the gap that you are missing, right? And one of the great news that we have for this October is that I think last month, which was September, we had 15 students in our community who landed a 6-figure income. And if you definitely want to be one of them, don't ask how long they actually took to land a job. Your question is, what difference are you creating and how can you help me close the gap? That is the question we can help you answer. All right, so without wasting much time, let's dive deep into the question. The first thing I want to focus on today is the resume. Now, after you have landed your certification, I know a lot of people go for, oh, I need a resume, then they start interviewing, and most often it doesn't really go well for them. Now, let me talk about the place of a resume after your certification. The first thing to do after the certification is not to go get a fine resume and start interviewing. Why? Because you are not yet prepared, right? Especially now where the competition is very high, you need to be able to build some practical knowledge and some solid background on the different foundation on Scrum, on the different Scrum event, on situational question, and also building a lot of background or strength on how to build tell me about yourself, which is one thing I'm also going to talk about after I talk about a resume. Now, what is a resume? A resume actually it's a I would say a resume. It's more like I'm looking for the right word. It's your first step. Your first step that enable the recruiter or the interviewer to invite you to a conversation, right? So it's just like you're marketing something. What do you want people to see in order to say, oh, I like to talk to this person? So the resume is not everything, because if I see your resume, it's good and it's outstanding. And if I talk to you, I see a very big gap between the resume and the person who is talking. It shows me that something is missing. And this is where many of us are actually at, right? We have like really good outstanding resume, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years of experience. But when a recruiter or interviewer get on the phone with you, the person talking is not talking as someone with 5, 8 years of work experience. And this is what happens when recruiter call you and they ghost you, and they call you and they ghost you. Now, there is one of our student who just landed a job as a program manager, and a senior agile coach, right? Now, it means there is something they did rightly, which a lot of people are missing. And one of those, I can assure you, is not just getting a certification and moving into the market. It's about staying and practicing and understanding what you need. Now, what happened to most of the people who really don't just want a job, but they want to build a career? They take their time and settle down and understand what they need to do. They realize that in order to get anything valuable, it costs time. time, right? It costs time. And for you to be able to hit that kind of result, you definitely need to become a master of it all. So that's the gap you're missing. So a resume kind of picture you out. The reason you think about a resume after your certification is because you want to have an idea on the kind of effort you need to put in. Let's say that we're building a resume that gives you 5-6 years of experience. Now, the goal is not for you to take that resume and go start interviewing. The goal is now to start building capacity that can defend 6 years, 7 years, 8 years of experience. And until you can talk like that, it's going to be maybe kind of a disadvantage for you getting into to interview. And this is also the reason why I advise everybody, get a coach, get a community that will help you navigate through this. This is something that you cannot do on your own. Now, okay, let's assume that you have been in the project management space for a while, you can be able to pull through. But when you are with people who are in the same direction, you can practice with them, you can role play with them, you see a very big gap. Right. So the reason you think about a resume after a certification is now to have what? To have a plan which you're going to work on the next couple of days, months while you're practicing before you start interviewing. All right. Your resume is also now the foundation that help you to build a tell me about yourself, a solid tell me about yourself. And I'm going to go through a tell me about yourself, what your tell me about yourself should look like. One of the biggest mistakes a lot of people do is when they're asked the question, tell me about yourself. Just by the time they finish, the interviewer already know that, okay, this person is not who I need. Now, remember, let's say that I'm talking with you and you tell me, okay, you live in Florida, and let's say you live in Palm Beach, Florida. Okay. Now, if I've been in Florida, right? And if I've been, let's say, in Orlando, or I've been to anywhere that it's really in Florida, and you're telling me that you're coming from that space, and you're not able to give me an idea of what it looked like, I can't really believe you, right? This is what happened when a recruiter talks to you and then they ghost you, they talk to you. Not all the cases, but majority of the cases, this is what happened. Now, your tell me about yourself is not about tell me about how you know how to facilitate Scrum event, because for many people, when we talk about tell me about yourself, like, okay, I work with A, Z, and Z company, and I help them facilitate different event, daily stand-up, I help them remove impediment. Nobody is interested about that when they talk about tell me about yourself. Now, tell me about yourself simply means that can you confirm that you are the person who I see on this resume? Which means that we want to talk about, hello, this is my name. My name is Peter, and I have about 10 years of work experience, and I have been able to work in XYZ company, and this is how my transition has been. I have worked in this company in the capacity of the Scrum Master, and I was helping the team deliver business value on this project, right? And my recent project, I was working on, let's say, building servers that help to improve security. My project is ending. That is why I'm out for a new opportunity. Now, you'll notice, although I did not go into the details, that I did not talk about anything on, oh, I'm a good facilitator, I'm a good communicator, and all of that. No, all of these automatically come out when you are selling the project you're working on. Now, let me summarize it so that you can be able to capture me. If you're telling me about yourself, it's nothing but, oh, I help my team facilitate, and I'm a good facilitator. I know how to run sprint planning and events. Trust me, you're definitely going nowhere. You tell me about yourself, you sell yourself, and you stand out. The reason why some people are able to get 3 job offers and you're not able to get even a single job offer is because your understanding of Scrum is still at a very basic level. So all you can talk about is how to facilitate event and remove impediment. Meanwhile, for someone who understands what agile product delivery is all about, they understand that agile product delivery is to help a team deliver business value. So when you work with a team, you're working with a team to help them solve a problem. Is it cloud migration? Is it building servers? Is it building infrastructure? Is it building new functionality? That is what the interviewer wants to hear. Because they go where they start asking you a question, how do you manage scope creep and how do you ensure the work? It's not because they want to look at facilitation technique. It's because they want you to understand that our major goal is to ensure that we deliver the value to our customer. Right. Now, the third part, which we want to talk about on series 3 today, is about understanding event. All right. They are in the next series. I'll take each of these in series 4, 5, 6. I'll take each of these events. I will go detail into it. But today, what I want to focus on is I want to give you a high-level overview of the different events and what you should be focusing on. Now, let's start with the first event, which is sprint planning or iteration planning. What is your role as a Scrum Master in sprint planning or iteration planning? Your goal is to understand the capacity of your team and to understand the story estimation technique or the work estimation technique so that you can engage your team in a conversation that enables them to know exactly the amount of work they need to commit to and the uncertainty that lies ahead so that they can be able to deliver what they promise to the customer. All right. Now, if you listen up, this is everything about sprint planning, right? We can go into details about what happened before sprint planning and all of that. But there is no way you're going to capture sprint planning in this manner and then the recruiter say they don't understand. Now let's go to daily stand-up. The goal of daily stand-up is to ensure that the team come together to align in order to understand what each other is doing, to see if there are any impediment they need to resolve, and to be able to do what? To be able to stay focused on what they are doing. So it's more like a check. And that's why if you look at Save 6.0 now, called daily stand-up team think, which means the team is coming together to have a shared understanding on what they are working on and to find if there are possible ways for them to move ahead, that blockers or anything that's stopping them from focusing. All right. What you also notice is that I'm presenting this from a goal-oriented, because when you understand your event from goal-oriented, it helps you get more value from it. But if you understand, like let's say for instance, a daily stand-up, as if, okay, I asked my team 3 questions, what happened? Every day you come ask your team 3 questions and all of them are fatal because they're not seeing any value in it. Now, let's talk about backlog refinement. The goal of backlog refinement is to be able to prepare ourselves for the upcoming spring so that we can avoid any uncertainty, to make sure that we are ready to go, to make sure that we understand the requirement, to make sure that we have an idea of our capacity that is coming up. And if there are any irregularity, we can be able to communicate to our stakeholder on time and resolve it. And then we talk about the review meeting. The review meeting is where we have the opportunity to demo what we have been building to our stakeholders, have their feedback, and also incorporate this in our current work. This also helps us to refine our backlog and to zoom towards the next phase. And the last is the retrospective, where the team is able to sit back and reflect on how they can add more value to their work. All right. So in today's video, we've discussed about the 3 different components, which is what you should know or what you should start focusing on knowing after your certification. Number 1, I spoke about your resume, and the reason you think through your resume is not because you want to start applying, it's because you want to understand what you need to learn in order to close the gap. After you focus on resume, focus on tell me about yourself, which I give you an example of what it should look like. Right. And it's a replication of your resume. It's about, can you tell me who is in this? Can you confirm that you're the right person in this resume? And then you go detailedly and start understanding these events. Now you realize that when you start understanding this event, you're not yet ready to start interviewing. If you start interviewing now, like a lot of people say, oh, I'm just going to start interviewing because if I don't interview, I will not even know if I'm ready or not. No, this is why you need a community that will help you to build you and give you pre-interview so that you can know that you're ready. But for people who just put out their resume out there and they just trying by luck, by the time you're ready, you have blocked all the chances. All the company that would have possibly called you up for interviews, you've already blocked all the chances with them, and you'll start saying you don't have any interviews, right? And for those who are really serious about getting their foot out there and doing the right thing, you need to invest, right? If you're not willing to invest, if you're not willing to invest on a coach, if you're not willing to invest, trust me, it's going to take you quite a while to be able to close the gap. And most often when you get into the job, every day you'll be at a point where you're afraid to lose the job. Why? Because you did not do your assignment, right? So that's the real truth. We have a great and outstanding community that help people to stay motivated, not to give up. We hold them accountable. In less than no time, they're working towards closing their position. If you want to be part of that community, reach out. We're going to tell you what exactly you need to be there, right? It's not for everybody. It's for those who have made up their mind like, okay, there's no turning back. And if that's you, we definitely want to talk to you. And also check on the description button. For those who are ready, I've prepared 150 plus video question and answer session that help you to master every bit of aspect. Now, I'll always advise you that if you have not done your foundation and your assignment, question and answer will just help you about 1 or 2%. Question and answer is for final preparation. It's not where you start. Okay, that's the reality you needed for this Monday. I am going to see you on Wednesday when I talk about Series 4. And on Wednesday, I'm going to talk about the role of a Scrum Master in sprint planning, where I'm going to actually bring up my Jira board. I will be able to show you what we do in the sprint planning, how we do estimation and all of that. It's going to be some role playing. Keep going, and I see you on Wednesday.